Forget everything you know about Samsung Foldable, because the Z Fold 8 is set to make waves. We have confirmation that Samsung will introduce a dual fold strategy next year, expanding the Galaxy Z product lineup. We're discussing the future of folding phones, particularly the device Samsung is preparing to launch next year, the Galaxy Z Fold 8. After spending a couple of months thoroughly testing the Z Fold 7, I can confidently say that it is an outstanding device. In fact, my primary SIM card is currently in the Z Fold 7, rather than the Oppo Find, the Honor Magic V5, or the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. Samsung has undoubtedly surpassed previous folding records with the Z Fold 7, but as we look ahead to 2025, there are crucial modifications that Samsung must implement to meet fan expectations and keep pace with growing market competition. We will merge my comprehensive wish list for the Z Fold 8 with the latest leaks and industry rumors, as the prospects for the next iteration of Samsung's Foldable appear promising. We have much to discuss, from key concerns such as camera sensors and battery life to the surprising possibility that Samsung might be moving toward an almost fully creaseless design. Before we dive in, if you enjoy in-depth explorations of mobile technology, please hit that like button and subscribe. Let's begin with what Samsung has already perfected. If it ain't broke, when we start off talking about the form factor of the Z Fold 7, there's actually not a whole lot that has to change. I think that the existing form factor is totally fine. Now, if I had a magic wand, I would love for them to build a passport-style gadget similar to the original Pixel Fold, because I really appreciate that design. But let's be realistic, that's probably not going to happen. And honestly, I think that's good. The Z Fold 7 is wide enough for me. It's not quite as broad as the S25 Ultra, but it's effectively equivalent to the width of the Pixel 9 Pro Fold, and I'm completely pleased with that. I have no difficulty typing or conducting any tasks on the cover display. The same is true on the inner screen. I enjoy that it's a bit wider now. Split screening two apps side by side feels incredibly pleasant, which is a tribute to the present design. So in terms of core dimensions, I don't think the gadget needs to get any thinner or any lighter. Samsung has landed where they need to be when it comes to those measures. This gadget is fairly sturdy. However, industry sources and insiders like ET News and Ice Universe believe Samsung is planning a huge surprise. They are going to debut two new foldable phones next year. This plan is meant to expand the Galaxy Z product selection. The sources suggest that one variant, likely the regular Z Fold 8, would look similar to this year's foldable phone. But there is an added model. This new fold is believed to feature a screen ratio that is shorter vertically but longer horizontally when folded. This design, according to industry insiders, promises to produce a real widescreen fold by putting two 18:9 screens together. The outcome is likely to be a gadget that looks practically square in size when opened, with the internal display screen aspect ratio being almost 18:18. When folded, the cover display will be significantly shorter but also wider, looking just like a candy bar phone. While this design might be a tactic to compete with the rumored Apple foldable phone, I have to add, I believe this is not optimal for content consumption. We might notice wide bars around the sides, which are not comfortable to view. However, it will be a really comfortable item to hold in hand. Goodbye crease, hello anti-glare. The Z Fold 7 was acclaimed for being one of the smallest and lightest foldable. Yet even on that tablet, the crease was still apparent. In foldable, the crease is frequently evident. But the Z Fold 8 is going insane. According to respected analyst Ming-Chi Kuo, Samsung is ready to adopt a new technology. They will employ higher-cost laser-drilled display metal plates. This new technique will try to erase the crease in the foldable phone, giving us an almost creaseless foldable. This update is apparently being developed to compete directly with the impending Apple foldable phone, which might transform the whole dynamic for foldable. While some may worry that the crease will start reappearing over time, no matter what technology is employed, just like prior foldable, the shift towards creaseless technology is a big jump for the Z Fold 8. Beyond reducing the crease, we need Samsung to address a practical display problem: reflection. The Z Fold 7's inner screen is exceptionally brilliant. If you toss aside the BS nits ratings that certain OEMs provide, the Fold 7 screen is the brightest I've tested. It's brighter than the Magic V5, the Oppo Find N5, and the Pixel 9 Pro Fold. The difficulty is that it is also extremely very reflective, which cancels some of that brilliance. I recently fitted one of Samsung's anti-glare screen protectors on my Fold 7, and I was immediately blown away. When holding the Z Fold 7 with the anti-glare cover next to my Pixel 9 Pro Fold, the difference in reflections from the same bulb was massive. It was a tremendous adjustment. So my request is simple. I want that anti-glare capability built in. I want it to just be part of the screen. Samsung needs to give us the S25 Ultra's anti-glare, anti-reflective cover screen and ensure that the screen protector used on the interior screen is anti-reflective as well. That would be really great. 3. Re-engineering the camera system. If we remain with talking about the camera module, there are two major areas where the Z Fold 8 needs quick attention: physical design for accessory compatibility and sensor quality. The single thing I would want to see Samsung change, though I admit it's not sure to happen, is the placement of the camera module. They need to take the camera module and rotate it horizontally. Why? Because MagSafe accessories, MagSafe rings, and Pixel Snap accessories are becoming more and more popular. Because of the current positioning of that camera bump, you run into complications with certain gadgets. I had to very carefully arrange the magnetic ring on my Z Fold 7 to allow me to use battery banks, such as the one from Pitaka. The upshot is that the ring is slightly misaligned from the charging coil, which means it's less efficient than it should be. The problem is that where the ring wants to be is up a little bit higher, and that ends up making battery banks sit awkwardly. The camera module and the charging coil are just too close together. Something has to give there, and since I don't want to shift the coil down, Samsung should simply rotate the camera bar around. We can see the vision with smartphones like the Pixels. They have a significant camera hump, but it is well far away from these extra battery banks. That should be what Samsung is pushing towards. And if Samsung is going to re-engineer the phone and move the camera around to make magnetic attachments work better, how about they publicly embrace the technology? They should come out with Galaxy Snap Mag or something similar, put the ring in there, make it G2 compliant, and let us just connect anything to the back without using an unattractive third-party ring. Beyond the actual location, we require at least one big enhancement to the camera sensors. The primary camera, the 200 megapixel sensor from the Ultra series phones, is totally fine. It's truly very, very good. While their processing could use a little bit of improvement, there's a touch more grain than I would like to see. The primary and ultra-wide cameras are solid. We are currently dealing with a rather low resolution and quite compact 3x sensor. More often than not, when I am shooting with this phone, I don't even use the 3x zoom. I might instead perform a digital crop into 2x because that still looks really excellent, but the 3x zoom almost feels like a waste of time. Here's how bad the sensor is. Sometimes when you engage the 3x zoom and you have scene optimization switched on, it will actually default to the primary sensor since the phone understands that the primary sensor is going to get a better shot. If the phone itself doesn't want to use the dedicated 3x sensor, why do we even have it? What we need is something more akin to what Google is doing on their Pro phones. Whether you look at the 9 Pro XL or the 9 Pro Fold, we need a higher quality 5x telephoto, and preferably a physically larger 5x telephoto. We just cannot be employing whatever 10 or 11 megapixel 3x sensors are being deployed in 2025, when we are talking about an essentially $2,000 gadget. That is absolutely not good enough. And Samsung knows it's not good enough because a lot of the time it doesn't even use the sensor when you attempt to use 3x. This next concern is one that I know many of you have been yelling about in the comments section already: the battery size. Now look, I'll straight up tell you guys, I don't really have a large personal problem with the battery life on the Z Fold 7. I use light processing mode, and with that on, I typically get 5 or 6 hours of screen on time, which is all I actually need. I generally go to bed with a tiny bit of battery still left over. That being said, we live in a world where phones like the Find and the Magic V5 exist. Samsung is starting to seriously slip behind these other phones when it comes to battery technology. I understand that Samsung is undoubtedly still worried following the Note 7 incident. In terms of total money loss, including not just revenue and returns, but also their stock, that incident lost them billions of dollars. I understand that anxiety, but it is 2025, and a 4,400 milliamps battery is just not big enough. Google is preparing to launch their new Fold with what is reported to be a 5,000 and some change milliamps battery. Samsung has to go larger. If adopting silicon carbon battery technology is what it takes, they need to conduct all the testing necessary and enhance that technology till they are happy with it. But they simply must ship something with a bigger battery. And while we're talking about power, the charging speed also needs to step up. I don't really require 80 watts or 67 watts. However, such speeds might be true for some competitive devices. But Samsung has to get us to at least 45 watts. If we can't obtain 45-watt charging, what exactly are we doing? This is a $2,000 device. Even though I don't personally suffer terribly from the present charging speed and battery size, the phone is too pricey to be sitting put at 25 watts and 4,400 milliamps. For the price range, Samsung simply needs to perform better. Let's conclude with a look at the future of the Z Fold 8 in terms of software, functionality, and its gigantic potential price tag. 7. You may have noticed I don't have anything on my wish list when it comes to software, and that's not a coincidence. I spent time thinking about what my software wish list would be. The reality is that Samsung already has everything covered. When I write wish lists for Pixel Folds, I have to ask for features like floating windows or a third app in split screen, but we don't have any of that to wish for with Samsung's Foldable, because we already have it. Furthermore, the leaks and speculations we're seeing regarding One UI 8.5 look pretty nice. So nothing on the software front for my wish list. Now, I know many of you are screaming in the comments right now, what about the S Pen? Well, the answer is simple. I don't particularly care about the S Pen, so it's not on my personal want list. It can undoubtedly be on your wish list, but for now it remains off mine. However, there is discussion about the S Pen. Some sources are proposing an S Pen return, or at least enhanced support, albeit there is no definitive information yet. Samsung might make adjustments to the display itself, or they might include specialized capability inside the S Pen to make it operate seamlessly with the Z Fold 8 display. Only time will tell on that front. We don't know yet if Samsung can justify this pricing. However, the sources mention that this exact device is special. With such a gigantic inner display and a much bigger cover display, they believe you can take everything out of this device, including the work of a smartphone, a tablet, and even a laptop. If Samsung truly delivers a creaseless screen, a massive battery with 45-watt charging, truly flagship-level cameras, and manages to package all of that into an expanded, high-cost laser-drilled display form factor, then perhaps that extraordinary price could find justification for early adopters looking for the ultimate all-in-one device. In conclusion, so that is my personal wish list mixed with the most interesting speculations for the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 8. We need huge advances in camera architecture and sensor quality, a critical shift in battery capacity and charging speed to remain competitive, and built-in display upgrades like anti-glare technology. On the rumor side, the idea of a creaseless tablet with a dual fold techniques suggests Samsung is making a major stride forward. What do you think of these proposed changes? Tell me what I missed down in the comments. What things on my list can you take out that you don't care about, or what would you like to add? That's the joy of the comment section. So that's it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more tech news and updates. Goodbye and peace out.